Hi dear viewers, welcome to an SFS tutorial video. Today our first tutorial is how to build a rocket and fly it. It's recommended to have a parachute so that you can fall back to Earth easily, safely too, and a capsule so that your rocket can be controlled. And then if you want to go to outer space, which is around 30 kilometers, you'll need a heat shield and then a separator because to separate stages. And then you'll also need some fuel. And then lastly, you add an engine. Doesn't matter which one, or maybe it does matter which one. Just make sure, because SFS is actually a very complex game. Okay, so let's add a Calibri engine. Now look at this place here. Where am I? Where is this thing? Yeah, look at the bottom. You'll see the thrust and weight is equal to 0.58. The thrust and weight has to be 1 or more. So here it's 1.47 and here it's at 4.17. Now look at the mass. The mass of our rocket without the engine is 25.3, and this Calibri engine can only have a thrust of 15 tons, which is 10 tons less than the rocket's mass. But the Valiant engine can also thrust by 40 tons, which is more than the rocket's mass. So let's use that. Well, let's start now. First of all, you click on the engine. Second, you put the throttle to 100% if needed, although you most likely need to. Then third, click the off button, and when you click it will become on. Congratulations, you are now flying a rocket. Now, how do we control this rocket? Well, these buttons here will make you know. Okay, so these buttons here will control where your rocket is heading. And you guys know how to reach orbit? For beginners, they don't know how to reach orbit, they just fly up. But then you look at the top left corner, well, not exactly, and you see the angle below the 3 lines, and you have to follow that angle if you want to reach orbit. So I don't think we have enough fuel. Yes, amount of fuel that is needed. First, we need to know the delta V of this rocket, which is not a term that beginners should use, but I'm not a beginner, so, well, you can just learn it, what delta V means. But I don't think this rocket is gonna be enough to get to orbit. So let's add another separation stage here. And then add another fuel tank and add another. Now let's add the Hawk engine. The Hawk engine has a thrust of 120 tons, so our thrust and weight ratio is 1.69, which is above 1, which means we're fine. Although you can add something. What if you want more fuel tanks? Well, then you can just add these things. They're called side separators. And then you just can add more fuels on the side. Yeah, that is so cool, right? Add more Hawk engines here. And congratulations, your thrust weight ratio is above 2. Now, for aerodynamics, which will save up your fuel, you can add some of these. Yeah, you can add some of those, and then this rocket's power is actually so strong that all you need to do is turn up the boosters. All you need to do is turn up the boosters to launch it. Okay, let's revert to build. I want to show you another feature. Just scroll down here and you'll see a landing leg. Okay, what do we do with these landing legs? Well, we put them to the last stage. And what are we gonna use this landing legs for? Well, it's literally in the name. To land the rocket. Yeah, we're gonna land this to the moon if it can reach the moon. If it can reach the moon and we land on it, I don't know, like a suicide burn. Okay, let's see. Engine on, go up. Engine go up. Rocket go. I meant rocket go. Okay, we're just fine here now. We successfully built a rocket that could even reach us to the moon. But today, we're just gonna go to suborbital. We're just gonna go to suborbital. So let's go revert to build. We're going to save this as rocket 1. We're gonna save this and then so let's remove this now and add a rocket that can go to suborbital. Remember the rocket that I showed you in the video, in the first rocket that I showed you? Well, we're gonna use that design, that same design, and use it to get to suborbital. Suborbital is basically not in orbit, but it's still going really fast. Now, keep in mind that this is not realistic. Earth's atmosphere is actually at 100 kilometers above the surface, and no, it doesn't even end there. There's an exosphere that will reach us like halfway to the moon. Also, it's harder to get to orbit. You can't just use this rocket to get to orbit. No, that's not possible. It's not realistic either. I forgot to use the angle, but that's what pros do. Pros do not use the angle. However, as a beginner, I recommend using the angle because it's gonna be super helpful. Once I was a beginner myself and I did not know how to play the game, so I used the angle to get to orbit. I don't know what it was like for. Also, by the way, I recommend you to turn to your right and not to your left. You guys want to know why? Well, let's zoom out to the map and see that the moon orbits clockwise. And going left means going counterclockwise, which means that if you wanted to go to the moon, you'd be crashing at immense speeds, which is not recommended. Okay, by the way, it looks like we're going too fast and we actually have so much fuel that we can actually reach orbit or something. I don't know. Yeah, actually, maybe we can reach orbit. We have like 32% fuel. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna reach orbit. I only planned suborbital. And if we're gonna reach orbit, then I'm gonna show you something else. So I recommend you to put your orbit 35 kilometers or above. Although for me, I can put it as low as I can because, well, I know how to play this game. Well, for beginners, it's recommended 35 kilometers or above. And then you just wait into the highest point. Oops, I already reached the highest point. Then start reburning and then turn to the side. Or at least the direction you're heading. That is. Looks like we are just gonna get to suborbital. This looks like not enough for, whatever. Never mind, I should have not said that. This actually still is enough to get to orbit. Hey, I'm recording. Or whatever. Oh, come on. My parents always disturb me. Anyways, now we reached low Earth orbit. Okay, let's just stay in this low Earth orbit for a while. Yes, you can time warp and you can see that the moon moves clockwise. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is a technique called deorbiting. Okay, so we're just gonna head opposite of our direction and start burning. We start burning until we run out of liquid fuel remaining. And then we separate and then we do nothing. We can remove this debris. Click on it and then remove it. Click destroy. Now we're here. Line up the capsule with the direction you're heading. This is the main idea for re-entering. Yeah, this is called re-entering. Make sure your heat shield is pointed against the direction you're heading so that you can be safe. Just wait for it to re-enter. It's gonna take quite long, but just wait for it to re-enter. By the way, make sure to change it from time to time. Your direction also changes. Why do I keep getting notifications? I don't know if it's important or not. Okay, the height is getting... At this point, you could basically just separate the heat shield from the capsule. But for beginners, it's optional. For me, I'm doing it though. Okay, I recommend that you look at the top right corner. You see that your height is going down, so once it's below 700 meters, click the white thing. The white thing is called the parachute. You'll also see your velocity slowing down, like the speed where you're heading downwards. Would slow down. Now that you have a parachute, that's the reason why it would slow down. The parachute intentionally slows you down so that you can land safely. You can time warp if you're impatient. But you just time warp, yeah, just time warp. Kabam! You were able to go to orbit and back. Congratulations. You just achieved 4 challenges. Okay, this is the mission log. Just click recover. Go to Space Center. Well, that's basically it. You can look at your challenges and you can see what you want to do. But honestly, that's really it. Well, whatever. Our next rocket is gonna be at the next episode, probably. I don't know. Well, what's for next episode? Well, we'll talk about it here. Well, for the next episode, we're going to use Rocket 1 to get to the moon. We'll use Rocket 1 to get to the moon. Well, that's what's gonna be for episode 2 of this series, but for now, that's all. Bye!